Hello, my name is Dana Bellamy and I'm the author of Raising Happy Hearts. I'm a mother of 6, and today I wanted to talk to you about offense in marriage, both how to stay out of offense and how to get out of offense if you're already in it, because offense is something that affects every marriage, because we're just people and sometimes we misconstrue something that someone says, or we're hurt by something that someone says or someone does. I'm talking about our spouses. And so it's important for us to learn to have those tools to stay out of offense or to get out of offense if we're already in it. So I wanted to share with you to begin with that the way that you stay out of offense is to think more about the other person than about yourself. So if you're thinking more about them and their welfare and their state of being and things like that, then it's easier to not take offense, because the only way that you take offense is if you're thinking about yourself and how much they hurt you and what they did to you. So if you're thinking more about them than about yourself, then it's impossible to be offended. Even Jesus, when he was hung up on the cross, he did not get offended. And he, as a matter of fact, he was thinking more about us than he was about himself. He said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." So he said that, and he had the most reason to be offended. And then there's us, and something small happens to us, and it's so easy for us to say, "I can't believe they did that," and then take that offense, take the bait. And so the first way, I just want to be clear, is to think more about the other person than about yourself. So you can think, okay, well, they're just tired, and I'm just going to extend grace to them, or they're having a bad day in general, I'm going to extend grace to them. Now, I'm not talking about abuse. Abuse is a totally different kettle of fish. I'm just talking about those little niggling, those small foxes that come into the marriage. And so that's the first way that you can stay out of offense, is just think more about them and more highly about them and extend grace to them. Now, if you're already in offense, if something happened, so my cat, I don't know, she's trying to, oh, that's cute, here. Meow, it's my catty. Meow. I don't know what she was trying to do. But, so, lovely, So if you're already in offense, then it's very important to watch over your thought life to see what are you thinking about, because it's so easy to think so much about that offense that you magnify it and you make it bigger and bigger in your mind, so that all of a sudden it's this big mountain that you just can't overcome. And I've had that myself, and I have an awesome husband, and yet there are times that I get offended, that I get hurt by something he said or did, even if he didn't mean it in that way. And then if I just keep thinking about that, I'll end up making such a mountain out of a molehill. And so I need to do this myself. And I pray about it, and I talk to the Lord about it, and the Lord shows me that I need to change my thoughts and what I'm thinking about. Because if I'm thinking, in that same path, it's a cycle that doesn't end. But if I think, if I look at it in the whole scheme of things, this is such small potatoes. It's not even going to make a difference. Like, probably tomorrow I'm not even going to remember what happened. And so I start thinking about what I'm thankful for with my husband, and what he does that is a blessing, and what I'm thankful for, who he is and what he has done. And I start magnifying that. And then this problem gets smaller and smaller, and I find my joy coming back and my peace coming back. And it's so much easier to get out of offense when I just change my mind. I just change the way that I'm thinking about something. And so I just wanted to encourage you to do that, just to change the way you're thinking. If your husband did something that annoys you, don't drag it out for 3 days, 7 days. It's silent treatment and all that. It's miserable for you, it's miserable for them, it's miserable for your kids if you have them. And the enemy is cheering you on because he wants that discord in your marriage. So it's important to not be that tool of the enemy, and do what it says in the Word, to think more highly about your husband than yourself, and to think about the good things about him to help you to overcome that. And another thing is, it says in the scripture that there was that unrighteous servant that God forgave him of this big debt, and then he wouldn't forgive his fellow servant of a small debt. And that's a picture of us, is God forgave us of so much. And who are we to hold on to this tiny little debt that someone has against us? God is in heaven just like, do you not realize how much I forgave you? Forgive this little thing. And sometimes I think, you know, my husband sometimes leaves, and, you know, and if we haven't, you know, got things, you know, squared away between us, and I just think, you know, if anything happened to him while he was gone, I wouldn't be thinking about that small thing that just happened, because all that will just be out of the window, and I'll just be caring about his welfare, and I'll just be concerned about him and how he's feeling and all the rest of it. And I'm like, all that is just a decision in your mind. You just need to decide that to begin with, and just don't let these small foxes spoil the vine. And so I hope I made that clear. That, oh, and one more thing, your emotions follow your thoughts. And I think I made that clear in my analogy, but a lot of people think that they can't control their emotions, that emotions are something that controls them, but it's your thoughts that control your emotions. So someone could come into the room right now and say, hey, so-and-so, your car's being towed, hurry up, get out there. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, my car's being towed, you know, and you'll have all these emotions because you believe that person that your car's being towed, whether it was true or not. And so your thoughts determined your emotions, whereas you could have not believed them and said, no, I don't believe you, and stayed in your peace. Or you could have thought, no, even though my car is being towed, it's going to be okay, and stay in your peace. And so it's your thoughts that determine your emotions. So when you're in a situation and something happens, watch how you're thinking about it. Instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. That is terrible. You know, how about you just think, okay, well, I'm just going to extend grace to that. I'm just going to wink at it like God does. And I'm not even going to be concerned with that because, you know, he's tired or he didn't mean it in that way. And, you know, talk yourself into staying in your peace. And then you're going to have a much happier marriage, not being in the fence all the time, because I know that it does not feel good to be in a fence. It feels terrible. It's not good for anybody. And so it's much more important to stay in your peace. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that this helped you. I really hope that it did. And if it blessed you, please like and share it so it can be a blessing to someone else. And I'm also trying to get my 501c3 set up for giving. So if you would like to give into that fund to set up my 501c3, can you please do that? I would really appreciate it. And I'll put the link down in the comments. All right. Love you guys. Bye.